Hello and welcome to my channel. For those of you that you live in a very cold climate, and I'm titling this scarf Alaska. Well, I could go with Siberia, but Alaska it's okay, it's cold there too. This stitch is really thick. I would recommend that you have for this scarf at least 200 grams of yarn. You choose. If you are to do the scarf with a thinner yarn, then you're gonna need maybe more yarn. But 200 grams of yarn, this yarn, well, let's say this skein has 40 grams. And this recommends that I should use 8/0, which is 5.0 millimeter crochet hook. But for this scarf, working with this stitch, I'm gonna use 7.0 millimeter crochet hook. So I'm gonna go 2 numbers bigger. I think it's best with this yarn that recommends 5.0 millimeter crochet hook. I can go maybe with 8.0 millimeter crochet hook, because this stitch is very, let's say, stiff, sturdy. It's good for a rug, it's good for a cushion, even for a pillow cover, something that it's really hard and not so, soft, let's say. So if you are to do a scarf with this stitch, use a soft yarn, and the size, it's up to you, but use at least 2 numbers bigger than the yarn recommends, the crochet hook. 2 numbers bigger. So you're gonna need some yarn, you're gonna need a crochet hook and a pair of scissors, and that's about it. So you're gonna do this. This is acrylic, 100% acrylic, it says here. So it's quite thick, the yarn. You can do a vest, you can do a hat, you can do so many things, but keep in mind this is very thick, yeah, and it's very dense, the stitch. Okay, so we're gonna start from the beginning. This is a 1 row repeat crochet stitch. Many of you know the stitch. Alaska is not the name of the stitch. Yeah? So we're gonna do the knot. So you're gonna do the knot the way you like. Let me put this a little bit like that. Okay. So the way I do the knot, I put a crochet hook around the yarn, I twist it, and then I bring the yarn through the loop, and then give it a tug, and you have a knot in there. Yeah, you can do the way you like. Well, now when you start to chain a little bit loose the chains. Yeah, this stitch works with any numbers of stitches or chains, it doesn't matter. You can go with odd, you can go with even numbers, it doesn't matter. So I'm gonna go with 10 chains. Yeah. Okay, what we're gonna do for a scarf, you're gonna flip the chain and we're gonna work through the bumps. Yeah. So you're gonna work on the back of the chain. This is the front and this is the back. Yeah? And you can see the bumps. So we're gonna skip the first chain and into the second chain from the hook, turn it over and go through the bump. So the bump, remember, has only 1 strain of yarn. Yeah? Pull up a loop and we're gonna do a single crochet. We're gonna move to the next chain through the bump and we're gonna do single crochet. Next chain, single crochet, and so on. This is a very easy stitch, goes really fast, and you can do so many things, especially if you want to do a vest. This is very easy because you work only with a single crochet, and for you guys, the beginners, this is easy, for example, to increase or decrease. Yeah. So single crochet in each chain, last chain, single crochet through the bump. Okay, now chain 1. You're always going to chain 1, turn your work, and now the first stitch is here. How we're going to do this stitch? You're going to go through the back loop. Yeah, so the stitch is like a V, So we're gonna go to the back loop and the line on the bottom. Yeah. So in the beginning you're gonna put your work like this. So go through the first loop, the back loop, yeah, and that line. That's why I said when you chain the chains in the beginning, chain them loose, so you're not gonna struggle getting into these bottom lines. Yeah. Pull up a loop and do a single crochet. Now, so you did the first stitch. Now the next stitch, so you're gonna work through the back loop and the next line. The lines should be parallel. Yeah. So the next lines will be this one and that one, this one and that one, and so on. Yeah. Pull up a loop and do a single crochet. So in the beginning you're gonna have to work like this. Maybe the first 2-3 rows will be easy. After that you're gonna do different. You're gonna hold the material different. So only through the back loop and the line. So if you work with a bigger crochet hook, it's gonna be easy to see the lines. Until you get accustomed with this stitch, then you can use a thinner yarn and the correct, the recommendation of the crochet stitch. So the next stitch, through the back loop and the line. So if you are to hold this like this, you're gonna go through the back loop. This is the front back loop, and then you're gonna have to turn it to see the line on the bottom. Okay, now the last stitch through the back loop, yeah, and the line on the bottom. Yeah. Okay, so pull the yarn to the 2 loops, chain 1, turn your work, and we're gonna repeat. The first stitch is here, go through the back loop, and then the line on the bottom, you see? So the next stitch is here, you're gonna go through this and this, this and this, this and this, and it's very easy. It's hard in the beginning for those of you that are not accustomed with this stitch to work with a thin yarn. Yeah. So you keep going to the next stitch through the back loop and the line. The line, like I said, should be parallel. If they're not, then it's a problem. And you have to be careful with the first stitch, because the first stitch sometimes you might miss. Next stitch, and you pick up the line, and this is gonna go so fast. I could go with this yarn, like I said, I can go with 8.0 millimeter crochet hook. It's so, still it's sturdy and rigid. So now the last stitch, back loop, and you have the line right here. Then you're gonna pull up a loop, do a single crochet, chain 1, turn your work, and you're gonna repeat. And do you see how thick this is? This is quite thick. That's why I said if you want a little bit elastic, the scarf, then use a soft yarn and at least 3 numbers bigger than the yarn recommends, the crochet hook. So the first stitch, it's here, so don't miss this one right here, because sometimes you're going to go to the next. So it's right here, the back loop and the line. Yeah. So you can see the lines, they're parallel. So you pull up a loop, and then you're going to do a single crochet. Move to the next stitch, back loop, through the line, single crochet. Yeah, you can do this like a lap blanket. This is quite thick. It's really nice. A really warm hat, or even a neck warmer, or leg warmer, or so many things you can do with this. next stitch through the back loop and the line. It's so easy, this one. So now at the end, the last stitch, back loop, and then you have the line right there. So now let's say, so you're gonna chain one, you're gonna turn your work, and you're gonna repeat. Don't forget about, let's do one chain here. Don't forget the first stitch, yeah, because you will have some of you will have a tendency to go to the next, and then the work is gonna shrink, it's gonna go that way, yeah. So let's say you want to finish and you want to close this, because if you are to leave it like this, it's kind of funny looking, yeah. So what you're gonna do, let's say you want to finish and you want to close the scarf or whatever you do. So you're gonna chain one, you're gonna turn your work, and this time we're not gonna go to through the back loop. We're gonna go through the stitch like normal. So when you go underneath the stitch, well, I'm explaining this for you guys, the beginners, not those of you that are already advanced. So when you go underneath the stitch, you should have like a V, yeah, 2 strings of yarn besides this one. So when you go through the stitch, you're gonna pick up that line, yeah. So the next stitch is here, the line is there. Next stitch is here, the line is there. So you're gonna do like a normal single crochet, yeah. So you go to the next stitch, you go through the stitch, you should have the 2 V's there, and pick up the line, yeah. Pull up a loop and do a single crochet. Next stitch, pick up the line, okay, single crochet, and so on, and then you are done. After you do this, you closed your work, and you don't need to see that ridge on top if you're not closing like this. So the next stitch, go underneath the stitch, pick up the line, so the last stitch is here, go underneath, yeah. So you have the stitch, yeah, so you have the stitch on top and the line is right here. You're gonna do a single crochet, chain one, pull up a loop, then you're gonna take the scissors and you're gonna cut the yarn, and you are done, yeah. So it looks okay on the top, yeah. So this is it, this is the stitch, but look how thick it is. It's quite thick. So if you want to do a scarf, it has to be a little bit loose, and otherwise it feels, if you work with the same crochet hook that the yarn recommends and you work this stitch, you're gonna feel like you, for a scarf, you feel like you wrap yourself or you put on you cardboard. It's so stiff. So that's why I said go with 2 numbers bigger or 3 numbers bigger, depends on your yarn size, yeah. But I think that with for example, I tried a sample with 4.0 millimeter crochet hook yarn, and I used the 7.0, and it's a little bit loose, it's elastic, the scarf. It's still thick, but it's a little bit elastic. You don't feel like you put a cardboard on you, yeah. So try this for a scarf if you like. Even for a blanket, I think it's good to go with 2 or 3 numbers bigger than the crochet hook than the yarn recommends, yeah. Well, I hope some of you like this stitch for a scarf, for a blanket, for a hat, for a headband. So many things you can do with this stitch. Well, thank you for watching. Have a good day.